So now I would like to invite the third speaker of the day, Dr. Hafiza Ahmed Khan. Dr. Hafiza Ahmed Khan is a senior lecturer of economics in University Technology, Malaysia. She obtained her PhD in economics from University Utara, Malaysia in 2017 and a professional certificate in business analytics from University SAINS, Malaysia in 2021. Her research area has been focusing on the monetary and financial economics and has published some research work in high-index journals such as in International Journal of Productivity and Performance Management, International Journal of Economics and Business Research, Contemporary Economics, Journal Economy Malaysia, and Natural Hazards. She is currently the editor-in-chief for American Journal of Economics and Business Innovation and the member of the editorial board for American Journal of Multidisciplinary Research and Innovation. I welcome you, ma'am. Over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Priya, for the introduction. Assalamualaikum, hello, and good day to everyone. So first of all, I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me as one of the speakers for this great event today. So basically, as an academician in the higher education, besides teaching, we must also highly engage in research and innovation activities. There are many ways where we can publish our research articles, such as we can write a conceptual paper, we can also write a theoretical paper as well as empirical paper. So the topic that I'm going to deliver today is related to the bibliometric analysis, an effective way to examine the current research trend, as well as how we can actually utilize this bibliometric analysis to increase our publication level, especially in the high impact journal. So without further delay, I will share my slides. Okay, can you see my slides?
No, ma'am.
Not yet.
Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay, so how about my voice? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so basically the topic that I'm going to deliver today is related to the bibliometric analysis, an effective way to examine the global research trend. So basically, in the recent year, this bibliometric analysis has started to become very popular among researchers for them to see the trend in the research, as well as this is also a very good way for us to identify the research gap. So normally for those who are in the first period of doing their PhD, it's good if they can implement this or they can do this bibliometric analysis because it can help them to identify what is the area of research that they can dig further. So this is the overview of my sharing today. So first, I will introduce the bibliometric analysis. Number two is the objective of doing this bibliometric analysis. Number three is the benefits of bibliometric analysis. And number four will be the example of bibliometric analysis. Okay, so what is bibliometrics? So this bibliometric, it is actually a term that being proposed by Pritchett 1969 that comes from the Latin and Greek word where biblio means the books or documents and metric means measurement. So how we are going to measure all the document or all the books or all the research article that has been produced, but we are going to measure in terms of the metric, in terms of how many publication, how many citation, what have been done so far and so on. So the objective of bibliometric analysis is first, we would like to examine the trend or the patterns of research. And number two is we want to know the impact of the scholarly scientific performance, either in terms of the impact of the journal, the impact of the researcher, or the impact of the research itself. So from this bibliometric analysis, it can help us to see the trend. And number two is help us to identify what are the future studies in that particular area. So popular research question related to this bibliometric analysis, among the question that we can answer is, what is the current publication trend? Which are the most influential articles? Which themes are the most popular among scholars? Who are the most influential authors? And what is the current state of collaboration, and some other question. So basically, from this bibliometric analysis, we will analyze all the data using the database that we have chosen. For example, if you are studying the Scopus database, so we can see the trend or the papers that can get into the database, Scopus, and what kind of research they are doing, and what are the top journal in that database, and who are the influential authors. So if, let's say, you would like to know in your research area, who is the influential authors, so you can use the bibliometric analysis. So benefits of bibliometric analysis, you can publish the result either in conference proceeding, or also it's very high chances for the research or for the articles to be published in a high impact journal in Scopus as well as in the Web of Science. Number 2 is data easily can be obtained from the database such as Scopus and Web of Science. Usually when we conduct research, we need to collect the data. So for those using qualitative, then you have to follow the qualitative methods. For those using the quantitative, you have to follow all the procedure to collect the data. After you have collected the data, you have to analyze, then come up with your articles. But for bibliometric analysis, only in few days, actually, you can already produce one research article, but using the data that comes from that particular database. And there are many tools freely available to do the analysis, such as we can make use of the VOS Weaver. We have the Hazing, Publish or Perish, and we also can use the R software and some other methods. And also can be conducted in any field of study. So we can actually collaborate with people from different fields as well, because it's not limited to our field of study only. So this is example of bibliometric analysis. So this one article published in Environmental Science and Pollution Research. It's a Q1 journal, only focusing on the bibliometric analysis on the topic immigration and environmental degradation. So the topic can be anything as long as you are doing the bibliometric analysis on that particular topic. So if you are interested to study about education, about the online learning, you are interested to study on any kind of topic related to your area, so you just conduct the bibliometric analysis, just follow the procedure, just follow the process, and you're able to submit it in a very good journal. So this is one example of this bibliometric analysis, which I conducted on the topic online learning and COVID-19 pandemic. So basically, my focus is just to know what kind of research has been done in terms of online learning and COVID-19 pandemic. So only restricted to the research related to COVID-19 pandemic. So I don't see in terms of other research or other types of disease. So for example, first what I need to do is I need to know all important keywords related to the area of what I would like to study. So for example, I would like to study about the online learning. So first, what the researcher need to do is to have all the keywords or all the synonym words related to the topic. And number 2, we need to do the search in the database that we have chosen. So for example, for this one, I have chosen the Scopus database, and I included some of the terms here. I included e-learning, hybrid learning, blended learning, virtual learning, distance learning, and others. So the reason is why we have all these terms, because we want to capture the online learning terms. So we can adjust that. So for example, for pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, we have some other item that we can refer to this pandemic, corona. And here I include not influenza, because when I search, I noticed that there are also some papers related to influenza. So I exclude influenza from my analysis. So based on this search, I managed to identify 1,182 documents related to online learning and COVID-19 pandemic. And after I screened for types of journal as well as the language, on the 841 documents that I used for the further analysis. So actually I did this analysis just to share, because last week also I have another one sharing related to bibliometric analysis. So I did this last week. So in bibliometric analysis, whatever we did, it should be recorded systematically. So that's why it is a combination of a systematic literature review, and with this, it combined inside this bibliometric analysis. So we need to report in our research articles. We are going to have the same structure as the normal research article, where we the introduction, and then we have the literature review. We have the methods, where in the methods, this is what we have to do. That is, we have to explain how we gathered the data, what search string that we use, and then how much the data that we have collected at first, and how we do the screening, and how much is the final numbers of document that we use for the final analysis. So this is the result. So for example, we can see here for the research related to online learning and the COVID-19 pandemic. So the study has started since 2019, where there is only one articles. And in 2020, we have 150 articles in the Scopus database. In 2021, we have 441. And in half year of 2022, we already have 249. And it's expected that it's going to be more than 500 by end of this year. So we can see that people are still interested in this research related to online learning and COVID-19 pandemic, because the issue is current, the issue is still relevant, and there are still so many things that we actually can dig further in this topic related to online learning and COVID-19 pandemic. So by looking at the citation metrics, you can see that only within these 3 years, the number of papers 841 related to this online learning and COVID-19 pandemic, and you can see the citation almost 7,000 only within these 3 years. So that's why for those researchers who want to increase their number of citation, or they want to have their paper mostly cited by other authors, then when you do research related to the pandemic, because it's very current, so you can get more citation compared to other types of research. So I always suggest to my colleagues, if they want to have more citation, then this is one way, one method how you can boost your citation. Okay, and then number 2 is we can also look in terms of what are the subject area covered in that study. So for example, here we can see that the top 3 areas covered in this study related to the online learning and COVID-19 pandemic covers on social science, 36%, followed by the medicine, and number 3 is on computer science. And when we analyze in terms of document by country, majority of the study or the researcher are from United States, and then we have from Saudi Arabia, and then the third one is Indonesia, followed by Malaysia. And here you can also see that there's also a good research paper, many research articles from India as well. So perhaps you want to know further what research has been done only in the context of India. Then in the search string, you can narrow down only to look in terms of India. So this is the top author related to this study on online learning and COVID-19 pandemic. So the first article is published in 2020 in Contemporary Security Policy on the COVID-19 and Emergency E-Learning by the author Murphy. So you can see in 2020, now is in 2022, just 2.5 years, the author managed to get more than 300 citations. Okay, so this is the top 10. So you can also see more than 10. You can select top 20 or top 30 according to your, it's based on you. You can decide how much you want. So in here, I only list down the top 10 research related to this topic. Okay, and then when I conduct a keyword analysis, on what keyword that already been discussed in all the 841 papers. So the size of the keywords indicate how much or how big or how significant is that keyword in that study. So meaning that most of the study has discussed on the education, on learning. So we can see many of the study is based on survey data. So you can see questionnaire, surveys, student, on the academic, and you have some keywords on stress. So some studies have discussed on the stress level. Some studies have discussed on the mental and the attitude of the students. And some studies discuss on the satisfaction. So by looking at the keyword analysis, it can give idea to the researcher on what are the areas that they can explore. So for example, in this list, you cannot, if you check here, you cannot find the monitoring, and then the evaluation or assessment is very limited in this study compared to the student satisfaction, students' mental health, students' attitude, and so on. And then by looking at the types of research method used, for example, here we have survey by using questionnaire. So meaning we can also suggest some other ways or some other methods for the online learning and COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so basically that's my sharing related to the bibliometric analysis. So I will end my sharing today with this quotes: no research without action and no action without research. So in order for us to have an article to be produced, we need to start somewhere. And with whatever we have produced, it will give or it will benefit to the economy, to the society, because whatever we have gathered from the research will help to develop everything around us. Okay, so that's all. Thank you. And also I will open more to the Q&A session in case you would like to know more about this bibliometric analysis.
Thank you very much.
So I'll pass back to the moderator. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so very much, ma'am. Now the floor is open for all the participants for the question and answers. I request whatever questions or queries you have, please address the speaker from whom you're going to ask the question, or any kind of comments or compliments or suggestions or observations, whatever you would like to give. Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Any questions from the audience?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to ask if we can get these presentations in our mails. All the 3 presentations and the presentations that have happened in the 3 days.
Yeah, definitely you can get it. We'll get the presentations from the speakers, and then we can, or you can write an email to us, and then we can forward it to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other question? All right, I guess there are no questions because everything was so crystal clear. So I thank all the speakers for today.
Okay, by the way, can I touch a bit? Okay, basically the one that I just shared just now on the online learning and COVID-19 pandemic, even though you just saw that some only few information that I shared there, actually I can produce one paper just using that information. So how easy the research becomes now, because we can also utilize all this data. So that's why I strongly suggest for those who like to start somewhere, to start writing. If I have no idea in terms of to conduct empirical research, you can start with this bibliometric analysis compared to you are doing the conceptual paper, because conceptual paper, you will just review the literature review. And the chances of your paper to go or to be published in the high impact journal is very difficult. compared to this bibliometric analysis, because bibliometric analysis, you have some analysis in your paper. You have some empirical analysis in your paper. So that's why in this research here, you can see that the bibliometric analysis become very popular, very easy for you to publish in high impact journal. And last month, I just received one paper to review for a journal in the science, where they have a specific journal on bibliometric analysis. So I strongly suggest everyone to have a look on this bibliometric analysis. You can join any workshop related to this, and you can try produce your own paper just in one day. I would say in one day you can actually produce one paper or one article. So all the best to everyone.